everybody, welcome back to another Blind Tuesdays. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This review will be pretty quick, just because I have to go pick up my brother here in a little bit, and I don't have much to say about this, but this week being thrillers, there's a few films that I could have chosen, but this one spoke to me the most just because it was a film on my checklist of like stuff I wanted to see. So I figured the criteria this week being thriller, I figured to go for something a little bit more recent, and decided to check out a film by Karen Kusama, I believe that's her name. Yeah, uh, director of Jennifer's Body as well as The Invitation. That film being that we're going to be discussing is Destroyer, which we just says directed by Karen Kusama. Stars Nicole Kidman as Erin Bell, who is a LAPD detective. She is very weathered when we meet her, very disheveled, exudes that of pain. I mean, her physicality, just her overall expression, her voice that just sort of like it's kind of like how when someone smokes for quite a long time for many years, their voice kind of sounds like that, kind of like kind of like that, little rusty. Like there's a little bit of like a pinch of rust, I guess you could say, that's in her voice, and her eyes also. There's a lot that says in her about her pain. As a character that exudes out of pain, just her aura, her demeanor, everything about her exudes out of pain. Um, and she is brought onto a case. There's a murder that happens, or that has happened, and she is now responsible, or takes it upon herself to find um, the the killer. And she is very passionate about such a case because she, upon seeing the body, of which the crime scene, when she looks at the body, she realizes very quickly who the person is, and decides to take on the case purely for herself, as it correlates to her past and a lot of the tragedies that had unfolded within her own past. Her being a sheriff, being part of the FBI at one point, working with the FBI to be undercover, and things unfolded, unfortunately, and that their past has basically come back to haunt her essentially, and she's trying to make amends, trying to redeem herself, and ultimately what the film is exploring is that of guilt. Specifically when you look through Nicole Kidman's character, it is very much a character guilt-ridden character that is dealing with the gravity of her situation and her past events, how she um, uh, her own part in it, and also her accountability. Her taking the fault for her actions. And not just being so blind to it, which is another part of the film which is another part of which the film explores. Sorry, I'm just a little just drinking some water. I need to drink some water, um, but the other side of that coin, with the film exploring guilt, it also, the other side of that is that of narcissism. A lot of how there is denial in many individuals, and how that those traits are birthed, or at least are imbued on those characters, and how it defines them. So it's showing you most of those two sides. Someone who is willing to be accountable, and the other side of things when someone isn't willing to be accountable. Um, and what you get is a performance from Nicole Kidman that, like I said, exudes that of pain. I mean, her demeanor, her aura, everything about the character is about pain. That is how you define that performance, or define the characteristic of that performance, as that of pain, because it's just that. I mean, it's just exactly what it is that Erin Bell, the character, is. And it's a very committed performance, a very committed, very, if you knew behind the scenes, that she took some great lengths to this performance, some method acting and stuff like that, stuff that I don't agree to, but it's apparent when you watch the performance that it is a very committed performance, and that she's very passionate about such character that she's playing. Um, and Outside of that performance, though, is where you start to find a lot of issues with the film. For starters, I think that aesthetically it's very cheap. I know that you can make film for cheap, but when it also is cheaply made, if you understand my phrasing, it takes away a lot of the takes a lot of the tension and a lot of the intrigue out of the film when such an aesthetic is bland. Especially when it's wanting to be of a certain caliber, a certain experience, cinematically speaking. It's not it's not matching that. When the aesthetics are just not being not being are not that great. Um, and it's quite disorienting. It's a non-linear approach, but in that non-linear approach, I feel that it doesn't inform much to the character or really give much of a study of the character, but rather just behave in a way that is just quite aimless, at sometimes just very nonsensical. And that's pretty much the foundation of it, of which is established. It has a very strong sense of familiarity and a lack of progression in what it believes to hold. Like it thinks that in this sort of fashion that, oh, we're really building to some big moment, and quite frankly, it's not. Um, and it's oddly paced. Like I just some of the cutting in between the past and the present just seems a bit jarring. Um, and there's just some stuff that just is just odd, like just on a narrative point where you're just like, that seems like overlooked. I don't know why they didn't think of this. There's the whole tragedy that as with that character is involving a bank robbery and a failed bank robbery, we'll say, and um, there's something to do with them getting the money in these like bags, and there's like little dye packs that at one point explode, and in the present with this character, she has a bag that's like filled with a certain amount of money, and she goes to get retrieve this bag, and surprise, surprise, there's a dye pack that was in there. I don't know why. If like she saw in the past that there was dye packs that exploded in one of those bags, like how could she not put it together that all those bags were rigged? Like I just have no idea. That was just strange. It's stuff like that where it's just like I'm not entirely sure why certain things like that are in the film. Why, how does that impact the character? How does that inform again more so about the character? It just doesn't really. And what you get from the film mostly is that of just something that's quite frank in its exploration of character. Quite, like I said, disorienting, at times aimless, at times nonsensical. But what is the driving force, what ultimately is maintaining some level of interest, is what Nicole Kidman is bringing in her performance, and really, really, like I said, exuding that of pain, just inside and out. That is exactly the the approach and the overall mindset of that character, is someone who is just in great in great pain. Um, and it's surface level. It's very shallow. I mean, the whole film itself is very shallow and simplistic in its deconstruction of the character. It's not hard to figure out. Like it very much lays out to you, her circumstance at the beginning. You pretty much know, what's going on, what her objective is, and perhaps this like, there's like little details here and there that you don't know about, but it just doesn't do anything for her, at least by just how the design of the film is. It just doesn't do anything for her. So, so like I said earlier, like this is made for cheap. I mean, obviously you can tell by just by like that's the problem actually, is that you can tell, like it's made for cheap, and it is cheaply made. It's something that you can tell is cheap, and that is a problem. When you can tell something is made cheap, when you can tell it is not, when you don't feel that, when other voices are not taking priority, and you can are just focused on the detail of just the frame, and you can see how cheap everything is, it speaks to the overall film itself when the aesthetic level is kind of speaking louder than that of the story itself. Um, so, so like I said, good performance from Nicole Kidman, but outside of that, cheap is probably the best word for it. So, so yeah. So those are my thoughts on Destroyer. Not really that good. It's okay, I guess. It's not it's not terrible, but I feel with a little bit more effort put forth in the filmmaking, I think that I might have been more impressed and more intrigued. It has like a whisper of Lynn Ramsey, at least by the music. It kind of suggests that of Lynn Ramsey as a influence. The difference with this is between this and Lynn Ramsey that Lynn Ramsey has just rich aesthetics and really just she herself understands more so how to present narrative than in the case of this director. At least again, just this is the only film I've seen of this director, but just this comparing this to something like You're Never Really Here, they're two completely different beasts altogether. Because that does not feel cheap emotionally or technically. This feels cheap in both departments, unfortunately. So so yeah, so those are my thoughts on Destroyer. And this being Blind Tuesdays, we're gonna go to the wheel, and I got my computer here now. Sorry, I haven't done all the transferring yet to my other computer, so excuse me. But I got the wheel here, and we are going to spin right now. So next week on Blind Tuesdays, it's going to be we landed on Thriller again, so we can't do that. So we're gonna spin the wheel again because I can't. It we the rule is that it can't be an exact repeat. You know, if for say it was like I don't know, like foreign language next week, and then again Thriller, that's fine, that qualifies. But it can't be Thriller and then Thriller. It can't be like that. So there has to be some gap in between. So we're gonna spin again. So let's see what's going on. So next week for Blind Tuesdays will be a yes, awesome. All right. So we're gonna be doing a film from the 70s. So yeah, that's the category, 1970s. So there you have that. So let me just put my laptop down, and yeah, so that's gonna be it for this Blind Tuesdays, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just putting the laptop down. And the criteria this week or next week is going to be 1970s. So that's all it has to be. It's not genre specific, it's just has to be from the 70s. So let me know your recommendations in the comment section below. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for just as the film was kind of disorienting type review. Just I'm a little foggy. Just need to drink some water. Um, but uh, but you guys want to hear your thoughts on Destroyer in the comment section below. Your thoughts on Nicole Kidman. Not familiar really with Nicole Kidman. I know her by name, but I'm not entirely familiar with her as a performer. Just outside of that, like Moulin Rouge and some supporting roles here and there. But I haven't really seen her in a big role, leading role. This is kind of my big introduction to that. Good, good performance. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.